Are you going?
I am. Also with friends, I think.
Wonderful. I've gone to homecoming the past 2 years
Mm-hmm.
with a date. That's not happening again.
Oh.
Because it's lame.
Is it? I wouldn't know.
Oh, damn! Well, you went to prom last year with a date.
Yes I did.
Well,
it was something. Welcome to Pulp Diction, the podcast where I talk about movies with my friends for an academic obligation. Oh, here's what I gotta do.
Oh, cool! I see yourself on the monitor now.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay.
Wonderful.
So, shall we begin?
I think we shall.
I think we shall. All
Wait,
right.
did you charge your battery this time?
I did.
Woo!
I did, and I have a fully charged spare.
Yay!
So if we somehow, I want to keep this under 3 hours this time, preferably.
That'd be a great
That would be
idea.
optimal. Welcome back to the Pulp Diction podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Gibson, and today I am once again joined by returning guest Lily Saunders.
Hello.
Last seen in the Labyrinth episode.
Yes. And I must tell you, Dylan, that over the past, I think about 3 to 4, maybe 5 days, the Magic Dance song from Labyrinth, favorite song.
It's a
I'm so serious.
fantastic
It's literally
song.
on my car yesterday. I was sitting at a light and I had it blasting. And I was dancing to myself, and I looked over and there was this guy, and he was like, and I could tell that he recognized the song, and he was like, "Why the f are you playing that?" And I was like, "Hey,
Hey,
how's it
how
going?
you doing?
How you doing?" It was great. Yeah,
That's
no.
so funny.
It was an experience, and I was like, okay, cool. And I rolled up my window really sad.
I always get real. Oh, you had your windows down?
Yeah, that's why you.
You're insane. I could never if I'm having a little me party in my car, I can't have my windows down. It's I get self-conscious if I'm just at a red light with my windows up and I'm having a little
Facts.
jam sesh.
I get that. I get embarrassed in certain songs, but for the Labyrinth, not as much because it sounds like an actual 80s song.
Yes.
So I'm kind of all right,
I mean,
cool.
it's Bowie.
But if I'm playing if I'm playing opera or musical songs, windows are up and that volume's on 5. No one's hearing me listen to that.
Yeah. I don't like this camera. I'm gonna...
What are you doing?
I'm adjusting. There we go. That's so much nicer. Okay, now we're good.
It's gonna be in the final cut.
All right. It should.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Just fixing the
now,
camera.
Lily, would you like to introduce which film we're discussing today?
Yes, the film. We watched Wes Anderson's Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is an adaptation of the Roald Dahl book. Mm-hmm. And I gotta tell you, I loved it.
It's such a good movie.
I loved that movie. This was my first time watching it. Mm-hmm. Best movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm shocked you've not seen it.
I've seen
prior.
clips and I've heard audio of it on TikTok, on
Right.
Instagram and stuff. But this is the first time I watched it, and I was sitting down to watch it. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And then halfway through, I was like, this is my new favorite movie.
I know. I get every time I watch it, I get sold on it all over again so quickly.
It rocks. It's so good.
The beginning with Beach Boys playing Heroes and Villains.
Dude, when I heard Beach Boys, I was like, all right, this is it. This is a great movie.
This is a great movie.
This is the movie, this is, of all time. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I forgot how awesome the soundtrack was.
The soundtrack is beautiful. It has Burt Ives in it.
Yes.
Which sings he sings the, Frosty the Snowman song, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
From the 60s.
Yeah.
But I know him from one of his songs called The Donut Song. And
The Donut Song.
The Donut Song.
Would you like to demonstrate the Donut Song?
I would love to demonstrate for you this song because I heard it one time in a playlist and on Spotify, and I was like, I gotta have this song forever now.
Yeah, pull up the Donut Song, Jamie.
The Donuts.
This is awesome. This is great. Was it Davy Crockett that he did in this one, or was that someone else? I don't know.
I think the David Crockett song.
Davy Crockett.
I think the Davy Crockett song was somebody else, but he sung and this one, this song, which you will recognize from it. Burl. Sorry, not Bert. It's Burl Ives.
Burl Ives.
Burl
That's
Ives.
right. That's
Buckeye
right.
Jim.
Buckeye Jim.
A red bird danced with a green bullfrog.
Love that song.
All right.
Love Burl Ives.
So, aside from our just yappage about the soundtrack,
yes.
if any of you don't know, Fantastic Mr. Fox, well, it is based on a Roald Dahl book of the same name, like you said, about a fox who, well, it's like a heist movie with, like, little woodland animals, right? Like, stealing from these chicken farmers and stuff.
Yeah. And, like,
And it's-
outsmarting, like, the farmers.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's stop motion, Wes Anderson,
It's
and he
beautiful.
has a very clear, distinct aesthetic, and I think it's a big part of what makes this movie work, I think. Like, it would not be the same movie if Wes Anderson had not.
I don't think that anybody could have done it better. Like,
No.
I really liked that the aesthetic of this one was 70s. It was very brown. It was
Right.
very, like, corduroy.
It's a
like,
very, like, yeah, very orange, very,
It's like autumn.
autumnal colors,
Yeah.
right? Like, very few blues and just color, wintry type.
It was very, like, red and,
Yes.
like, warm. Which is why I think that the choice to make Christopherson, like, a lighter color
Like,
sort of kind of bled into
shows that he's different.
that he's different, but
Yeah.
not only with, like, the coloration of his fur, but also as well as, like, the way that he talks. Which, like, in the movie, like, the warmer colors seem to represent, like, a poorer side of town, where, like, the rich have, like, the clean white aesthetic of them.
Yeah,
But
I get you.
they have, like, they're cleaner. They look cleaner. Where, like, friggin', what's the kid's name?
Ash?
Yeah, where Ash dresses like how I did when I was, like, 8. And, like, just crazy. I was
Word.
like, okay.
Yeah, he's
Word.
just doing... They're both doing their thing, and I love the use of color just in this movie. I think there are certain directors that just have, like, a total mastery over the way they use color.
Color schemes, yeah.
Like, you got Wes Anderson, Damien Chazelle, who did Whiplash and La La Land.
Right.
Who else? Spielberg in some instances, Tarantino, Scorsese, all the big ones. And just, yeah, Wes Anderson is just so he's a perfect choice just in general for Roald Dahl books, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like his aesthetic kind of perfectly matches the quirky sort of atmosphere.
The oddness.
The
that
oddness.
that was Roald Dahl.
Yes.
Somebody that wrote the BFG, Witches, Matilda.
Right.
Things that, like, that really somebody had to think of. Like, it would be Roald Dahl and Wes Anderson kind of, like, connect on that aspect.
It's a match made in heaven.
It really is.
with-
Like, in that aspect, I feel like, I mean, because there is a quirkiness about Roald Dahl books that
Definitely.
has to be represented in a certain way, or else the quickness of it gets lost.
Yes.
It's very, like, the pacing of his books are, like, you have to get it right. I think, Witches, the original movie that came out with that, did a pretty good job of going along with what Roald Dahl had in mind.
Yeah, they're like, no sugarcoating there. That movie was terrifying.
It was awful! Oh my god, it was terrifying. I saw like, the trailer for, like, the new one with, I think it was Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, like, all this controversy because, like, people with less fingers are bad guys or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, you were
Guys, we can't be doing this. It's a book about witches. It's not that. It's like, I don't understand. No, but I mean, some of the actors in Wes Anderson, they always come up over again.
Of course.
The big one is Owen Wilson.
Owen
Owen Wilson
Wilson.
is in every single Wes Anderson film, and he was in Fantastic Mr. Fox as well.
Right.
He was like the mink,
Yeah, I remember hearing his voice. I don't remember which character it was with.
the gym teacher.
It was the gym teacher.
The gym teacher.
That's right. And he's explaining the rules and stuff. Yeah.
I heard his voice, and I was like, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. And there were a lot of those voices too, like Bill Murray.
Bill
as well.
Murray!
I'm like,
the Badger, I heard him,
I'm
and I was
like,
like, I know him.
it's Bill.
And they're like, oh, it's Bill.
Peter Venkman. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, literally, it's all I heard. I heard his voice, and I was like, I know who this is, but I gotta look it up. Like, and then George Clooney as Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I would honestly argue Mr. Fox is like one of, if not George Clooney's best role.
I think that, yeah, of course. I think that my tier list goes Fantastic Mr. Fox, Ulysses Everett McGill.
Of course.
From
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
What an awesome film.
He has such a penchant for like these quick-witted
The way
just
that he
suave characters.
It's wonderful. Can we talk about one of the things that I found out in the film, and I was very excited about it, and
What's
I was
that?
like, this is really smart with the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there and I was listening to it all happen, and I was like, that word does not match what's going on. Why did he say that? And he said, he was walking along, and he goes, what the cuss? And I was
Yes!
like, no. And then I kept hearing it, and I was like, oh wait, he's like replacing the curse word with the cuss. I'm like, that's so smart, guys.
I loved that in the movie. You know, and I don't know if you caught this in the background at one point in, like, the city. There was graffiti on a wall. It just said cuss.
Are you serious?
I laughed
That's
so
funny.
It was
Cuss.
so funny.
That's so
And
funny.
just the use of that in the whole movie, like, adds to the quirkiness. And, like, there's
That's so smart.
there's a very fine line between, like, annoying quirky and, like, fun quirky. And I think
This is just perfect.
it places
I
itself
feel
firmly
like
on the
all
fun
of
side.
all of the actors did a tremendous job as well playing each character,
Yes.
especially George Clooney, because like his character was like serious and tough at times, but he is just like what he is, and he is fantastic, Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
And that's what the movie's about, is like like a person's own nature, an animal's own nature.
Right, just
and,
trying
like,
to find it.
Yeah.
I found a lot of similarities between Animal Farm with this movie as well, because like at the end of Animal Farm, they were like at what point does the pig become a human and the human become the pig?
Right. That's
was
an
like-
interesting
Right, I thought it was
comparison.
odd because, like, I was listening to it and I was like, they can't talk to each other. And then I was like, they're talking back to each other, like the humans and the foxes,
Yeah.
like they're talking. And I was like, why are we killing people that can talk? Because in my mind, if a creature can talk to me, that's off limits,
because
dude.
oh, right.
Because that's intelligence.
And like you could say, "Oh, it's a kids movie. You're not supposed to think about it that much." But like I think he wouldn't just do that, you know? It's definitely some sort of commentary on like the people are animals.
I think it
too,
has to be like lower people are seen as like animals and like your
Right.
nature. With like the wolf that was out in
Yeah.
like the wild, like I thought it was interesting because like the wolf has got to be an analogy for something that I just
Right.
can't figure out.
Yeah,
what
no,
it
I'm
is.
like, what does every time I watch this, I'm still like not entirely sure what the wolf represents.
What it represents, and what I think it might represent is because they did like the fist raise, where like that's like a signal to each other that they're still animals.
Right.
Like that's the language that they speak to each other.
Mhm.
That like this part of like the valley, because where the wolf is, it's white and it's snowy and it's bleak and dark, and like he has no clothes because he's not domesticated or he's not evolved
it's
enough.
a wild animal.
It's a wild animal, so I think that's kind of like a nod to people's like instincts, where like at certain points people like become what they've always have been, and that's reverting back to their natural
like
instincts.
embracing their more animalistic
right.
natures.
So people are scared to become an animal, which is why he was like, he
he has a phobia of the
phobia
wolves,
of wolves.
and he's kind of he wells up with tears, but he kind of sucks it up, and it's like
he's like I feel like that's scared of like becoming this like monster, this creature that's inside of you, and that meeting up of him being like, hey, like it's acknowledging like your inner like self and knowing that it's there, but never going to be that.
Yeah, like it's not necessarily something you have to fight,
But it's
like,
something that you need to acknowledge.
yes,
Something that's always going to be like with you, but you don't have to be scared of it.
totally.
Which
totally.
I think we kind of just figured out what the analogy is.
I think
right
we
now.
did. I think
It's
we did.
like,
Great discussion.
at
Great
this-
podcast.
all right. But that
Yeah,
was a beautiful
I feel like I'm in
piece,
English class,
right?
in a good way.
Okay, no. Debates.
But yeah, it's so great, and like you kind of have that theme earlier too, with him like trying to fight that nature, like being domesticated and being like a reporter. He was a reporter.
Yeah, with the newspaper.
And he eventually realizes like he just can't fight that nature anymore, which is why they move into the tree and start going back into the heist mode.
Yeah, I think
One last score.
one last score, which is like I've seen a lot of movies where it's like one last score, or like especially in like video games too, with like
Oh,
Red Dead
yeah, like
Redemption,
Red Dead.
like one last big hit and then we're out of here. Which like at a certain point it becomes dull and boring, and it's done. It's been done. Like
It's a very
it's
like worn trope.
it's worn down trope, but I feel like this movie did it really well because it showed different dynamics between different characters, that different things happen to different people.
Yeah.
With like the rabbit's like ex-girlfriend, you could see like even in the movie how they like the two rabbits wouldn't look at each other. They wouldn't talk to each other, and it was acknowledged earlier in the movie
Yeah.
that they dated, but they didn't talk
I didn't
to
even
each
catch that.
other. Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting. I was like, oh, I caught that.
Yeah, but it's all those little interactions like that make the movie so just worth falling in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, these animals are, ironically, like, more human than the human characters. And
right.
just all the different conversations they have. Like, a lot of the time it's dialogue. I think we talked about it on Labyrinth, is that dialogue is sometimes, like, weird but charming.
Yeah,
and I think this definitely has that factor. Like, it's not always how people talk, but it's in a
I feel like
charming
it's
sort of
like
way.
What's like the cadence of it all as well.
Yeah,
was really interesting.
Like Wes Anderson dialogue, like you know it when you hear it. It almost has a rhythm to it.
It has a rhythm like how Shakespeare has rhythm.
Yes.
Which is why, like, if you recite Shakespeare in a Southern accent, it sounds better.
Does
than
it?
It sounds better than how you say it in a British accent, because the Southern accent is more close to what a British accent would have been at that time.
I've seen
so when
something
you
about
like
that.
when you're like quoting Shakespeare or something, and you're like in regular British, you're like, "Shall I compare thee to like a summer's day?" And then you say it in like a Southern, and it's just, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" So it's smoother, but the cadence is there. So I feel like with Wes Anderson, there's a certain cadence that has to be followed, and it's da-da-da-da-da, stop, da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Like, you have to pause for certain moments and then keep going with what you're saying. To, like, put certain inferences or certain enhances on certain words.
Yeah, totally. I took note of some of the, like, my favorite just little bits of dialogue. Like, you're supposed to be my lab partner. I am. No, you're not. You're disloyal. It's funny, but also it's just, like, I don't know, something about it is just so engaging.
What it sounds like to me is that, like, it kind of sounds like you're supposed to be my dad. I am. No, you're not. You're disloyal. Because, like, his dad throughout the entire film is like, Christopherson, this kid can do this kid can do this. And Ash is trying to, like, build up to that. So I feel like by him already having this, like, crush on the girl, and then him, like, being like, okay, like, at school at least, I don't have to deal with this, like, thing that Christopherson's better. And then he's like, this girl that I likes him now, and he's like, everybody's disloyal to him.
He can't have anything.
Yeah.
Because he's different.
That thing weirded me out. I was like, why do we have to do that?
I think it's just one of those...
Different.
One of them things.
Like an odd movement. I feel like with Wes Anderson, there's always a certain, like, odd movement that happens within one of the characters.
Yeah.
That's, like, distinguishing.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of them did have, like, an odd move. Like, Mr. Fox's trademark, the whistle?
The whistle, like, snapping, he's like...
Yeah. I can't... I don't know if I can do it.
Dad.
But they all had these little quirks, because, what was it, Mrs. Fox said, like, nobody's... Like, we're all different, or something like that?
And he was like... and then, Ash was like... he's like, but I don't want to be. I think that's lame. He's like, I want to be an athlete.
And he was. He became somewhat of an athlete. He became an athlete,
but, like, he wasn't the athlete that Christopherson was. He was, like,
his own kind of athlete.
He's animalistic. Like, he let his instincts take over. Which was, like, I feel like kind of like the whole film. And then, like, his dad seeing that being like, you can be an animal, but still be, like, civilized.
Yeah, which is, like, the whole, just
the whole movie.
Contrast, yeah. Like, near the beginning with the breakfast, right? Like, she serves him the toast. It's like, thank you, honey.
Yeah, and then, like, sips his coffee really nicely.
Yes. It's so good. And, towards the climax, too, when I think it's when everyone's, like, embracing their, traits, because he's going through their Latin names.
And, like, names, like, Vulpus, like,
yeah,
Thomas.
and, like, what they're good at.
Yeah.
And I love that so much, because, like, in these movies about sentient animals, it's so easy to just write them like tiny humans, right? Yeah. But this is different because they're like they embrace their animal traits, right? And like they do all this stuff that like it wouldn't. Like if you made the story about people, then it would be a different story. It would be,
I mean, it would be. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that plays a really big part in it, and I really liked how like the possum, what was his name?
Kylie?
Kylie. I loved Kylie. I loved him so much because he was just kind of there the entire time. Yeah. And I liked that that Mr. Fox, like, played into that. Like, he was like, you're just kind of here, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, Possum was like, okay. Like, Kylie, like, he was so happy to just be there and like, be involved.
He just like to be part of it, and that's very nice.
That's all that we could hope for. Because, I mean, like, he's in the movie, you don't need like a comedic relief character because like they're all comedic.
They're all
relief.
comedic relief, yeah.
Like there's no relief that you need from the movie. But what I liked in this movie, which I thought was a little bit different than usual Wes Anderson movies, was like especially in Budapest Hotel, there was like it felt long to me. The movie Budapest Hotel, I think it was only like 100 like
hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Which is
hour
like
40
average
minutes.
Wes Anderson.
It's an average
length.
movie itself.
Yeah.
Right. But it felt slower. Like there was like so many different things that had to happen within the movie, and I was like, okay, you know, it was a great film, great movie, great story. I loved it, all of it. It always is. But I felt like it was more like drawn out. But with Fantastic Mr. Fox, it was just so quick.
Yes.
It's 100.
The pacing is immaculate.
100. It's an hour. It's an hour and 28 minutes. And it's just, it never slows down except for when it needs to be. And it gives you a breather of like what's going down and then before it happens. And which I feel like is very important because pacing in a movie can either make it or break it.
Oh, absolutely. Like the worst thing a movie can be is boring. And like the episode Emma, Joe, and I just did on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Most of it was just us talking about how boring that movie is. It's the first Friday the 13th, as much as I love that series, is a bad movie.
Is it really bad?
Because, like, most of it it's not even bad. It's just so mediocre, because 99% of it is just nothing happening, except for, like, the occasional time when these two teenagers are sneaking off to have sex. This guy's getting killed. Whatever. But those are the highlights of the... Well, the sex, not really a highlight, but the kills are such a highlight of the movie, but it makes up so little of the time that it doesn't really make up for all the parts.
I understand that.
Yeah, something like Mr. Fox is, every scene is important.
Yeah.
And I think for stop motion as a medium, like, it's obviously so difficult to do. Like, you have to make every single frame count.
Everything counts in stop motion because you can do it over again, but that takes time and effort and takes more. It takes hours upon hours to get one frame of animation.
Yeah.
So, especially things with like Wes Anderson's stop motion is different than Tim Burton's stop motion because Tim Burton's is animated. It's like there's stop motion, but there's an animation aspect to it of like it looks like it's in a screen where, if that makes sense, where Wes Anderson's stop motion, especially for Fantastic Mr. Fox, it's like you can tell that it was made on a set.
Yes.
Like everything is touchable. Like there's real hair, there's real fabric involved.
Yes.
Like it's touchable. It's not just clay.
And that's the thing too. That's so unique about this style too. Is like you can see in every frame just the hair's like moving around and all these little imperfections that in another movie might like detract from it, but I think here it adds just a whole quality element to it, and I love it so much.
I love like because of movies like The Box Trolls and like A Corpse Bride and stuff. You like the clothes themselves are clay. It's all clay.
Yeah.
It's all organic material. But with like Wes Anderson and like a few other stop motion movies, I think, I don't think Coraline even does it either. I think Wes Anderson is the first movie that I've come across with like stop motion where I can actually see the fabric.
Yeah.
It's like it's movable. Like the cider. When it flushed through, you can tell it's fabric.
Yeah.
It's fabric, it's drawn.
And like the smoke too, like it's cotton balls or something.
Cotton.
Yeah. It's so cool.
It's like polyester.
And like
like a pillow.
And you get to see how it was made and like it's obvious. It's like a storybook kind of sort of thing.
Yeah. It reminded me of like when I was like a little kid, I had this book called like What's Under Your Bed or something. And it was like a monster book. And like each monster that there was, you could like feel it. It had a different like texture to it. Like one of them, like one of like the fabrics was like a carpet kind of. Another one was like a shag. Another one was like polka dots you could touch.
And this is like that because everything has a very like defined texture.
So you know what it feels like. It's touchable. It's not just like flat and you're like if I touch it feels like clay.
And I read too, like I guess they used real animal hair.
Oh my gosh. Did they really?
Yes. And I think maybe real people hair too, which is fascinating.
Go ahead, Owen. Go sit in that chair and give you a haircut after the show. Ugh. Oh gosh, but I thought that it was really good. Like I really do like how the villains themselves as well.
The villains.
They followed the one guy.
What was it? Boggs, Bunsen, Bean.
Yeah.
One fat shit, one short, one lean.
Yes, the Petey song. Dude, talk about the Petey song.
That was awesome.
Him just sitting there spouting out
things. I loved it so much. And like his personality and how he was playing, moving around. It's so fun.
I felt like the dialogue was funny because it sounded like something that I would hear people talk about like anyway. Like hearing somebody speak like when Petey was sitting there and he was like, I don't know, I was just making up.
That's just weak songwriting.
Yeah, he's like...
You wrote a bad song, PJ.
You wrote a bad song! And he's just like, oh, well...
I know, in Dumbledore's voice, too.
Yeah. Put your name in the goblet of fire!
Aye!
Put your name in the goblet of fire!
Dumbledore said calmly.
Yeah, right? But it just, like, the dialogue sounded like that could be something that I would actually hear somebody say, where somebody's just like, well, I'm just singing a silly song, and it's like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a stupid song.
Like, for all the weird, quirky, charming dialogue, there's also, like, some very real human dialogue. Yeah, especially among the animals, like, the conversations, particularly, like, the one-on-ones with Mr. and Mrs. Fox, I think were very real.
They're very real. I feel like they show a lot of, like, of a more serious aspect to it, just because it has to be. Mm-hmm. Because it shows... Oh, wait! Another big thing that I liked with the cinematography of it as well is in the beginning when Felicity, that's her name, the Mrs. Fox.
That's right.
When she tells Mr. Fox that she's pregnant and, like, only she glows. And then at the end, when they're in the grocery store and she tells him, like, that she's pregnant again, like, they're both glowing.
They're both glowing. Like, they're more both on board with it this time.
Because what I liked about that is that, like, she was ready to, like, let go of, like, the hunting and, like, her animal instincts and, like, settle down finally. Yeah. And he was like, ugh! He was like, I don't like that. Like, I don't really want to. Because you can see it, like, in his face, too.
Yeah, he does the...
He's the... And he was like, oh, no. But, like, in the end, he was like, okay.
Yeah, like, I'm ready to move on. And I hadn't thought of it that way. Like, obviously, it's a funny gag. Uh-huh. But, it definitely does add... stuff to the storytelling and how a subtle way of showing how the characters are on the same page now. Yeah. And there's so much I love about this movie. It's such a good movie.
It's amazing. I love it all. What do your notes there say?
My notes, let's see. We've talked about some of it. I said one of the reasons we talked a little bit about how Wes Anderson is like a perfect choice for a Roald Dahl movie. Mm-hmm. And he did do some other Roald Dahl. I don't know if you saw any of those Netflix like short films he did, I think a year or two ago. He did like Henry Sugar and some other ones. I didn't watch all of them.
Did he do like James and the Giant Peach?
No, that was someone else.
That's somebody else.
That did that.
That's right.
I think. Yeah, it was. But I think it's so funny because like this movie in particular has like a very British vibe about it, even though most of the cast is American and Wes Anderson's American. He's like the most British non-Brit ever.
I've never met my entire life.
Yes.
Oh, I've never met him, but you know what I mean.
Unfortunately.
To have tea and crumpets with that dude, just like talk about like what his mindset is. No, it has a. I feel like the way that at least people abroad view Britain is very like country-esque. It's like it's calm, it's mellow, and there is this air of like almost like village tranquility in that as well. When like in like reality, a lot of Britain like kind of just sucks. Like from what like I've heard like people online talk about. I've never been there myself, so I can't say 100%. But like it has this really nice like village-esque sort of like vibe to it, and then I feel like I like the contrast between the characters being American and then
the rest of the people being
British.
What did you
I feel
think
like it makes sense because like you can talk. You're a different species though.
Yeah, it's so different accents. I like that. I love that. Yeah, but just and Roald Dahl in general is just he's a very distinctly British author. Like you look at Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it's super.
The word bloke comes up in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like in the book, and I was like, okay. I know where we're at right now. Like, we're in London. I know what's going on.
That was my favorite book when I was little.
Was it really?
I loved it.
I enjoyed the BFG a lot.
BFG was great. Like I think that was my first Roald Dahl book. Our kindergarten teacher read it to us.
Yeah, that's right, Miss Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she put me behind her desk. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We were watching Spirit, Sally of the Cimarron, and I wouldn't stop talking to you. And I think it was literally you and maybe like Katie or something.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't stop talking, and so she was like, "Come sit behind my desk." And I did it, and I was like, okay, because she's like doing work, whatever. And then I tried to look through the crack in the movie, and she's like, "Stop doing that." She forgot about me. She literally came over to her desk and she was like, "Oh my god, I forgot you were there." The entire movie was done. The movie was over. I came back for the last 5 minutes and I was like, "F you." I was like, I was like, this is the worst thing's ever happened in my entire life. That's right. She did. How dare she?
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It's the one kindergarten memory that I have besides maybe 2 others. No, but I remember that.
Oh man.
How could she? I don't know.
You got beef with your kindergarten teacher?
Yes. How dare she?
Oh, man.
Yeah, the BFG. I love that. I love the movie.
Yeah.
You know that?
Steven Spielberg.
A lot of people don't like that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
I saw it when it came out. I remember liking it. I haven't seen it since. I'm a sucker for Steven Spielberg and everything he does. So I'd probably like it if I saw it again.
Didn't he do Jurassic Park?
He did do Jurassic Park.
That's what. Okay.
And Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Jaws,
and all that good stuff.
Just a million things.
A million things that he's made rich. What I appreciate about Steven Spielberg is that he's one of the most successful movie directors of literally all time. Mm-hmm. But he still makes movies and he doesn't have to. No. He has enough movie where he can he has enough money to pay his taxes, his mortgage, and set his kids and his family alight for the next I don't know, maybe 50 years.
Forever.
For millions and millions of light years and eons. But he still makes movies because it's what he's passionate about.
Yes, he's never done it for the glory. He's always even ever since he was a kid, he's been making this stuff. He's always done it for love. Jim Henson, yeah. And I have so much respect for him because of that. And Wes Anderson too is a director that does it out of love. Actors have said that these movies are so they're so low budget and just they're this unique kind of thing that they often they have to take a pay cut just to work with Wes Anderson. They have to they often don't even make a profit on these movies. Mm-hmm. They just make it for the sake of making a movie
because it's fun. It's why they do it. I know that a lot of actors will come back to movies and directors not for the money but for the experience that they've had previously, which is why Owen Wilson shows up repeatedly in that and in those movies. That's why he showed up a lot and that's why he continued to show up in the Night at the Museum movies because he liked the actors and he liked the director of it. And for the time that the Night at the Museum trilogy, I think even now it didn't make as much revenue as I thought it was going to. But it's still one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite movie trilogies of all time.
They're amazing.
They're perfect.
I need to watch them again.
We got to do point or another. Podcast on Night at the Museum.
That would be wonderful.
Wonderful.
I would be so down.
Yes.
Yeah, the same director. He did I think at least the first 2. Not sure if he did the last one. I want to say he did. Just did Deadpool and Wolverine actually.
Makes a lot of...
So he's he's big on these big blockbuster type movies, but that are also kind of sentimental.
Actually, I won't say that comment. I'll keep that to myself for later when we're off camera.
Okie dokie.
I'll keep that to myself because I was gonna I said there's a similarity that I found, and then I was I'll say that later. Anyway, back to Fantastic Mr. Fox. Back to the actual movie.
We had a little tangent, but it's okay. I really loved the moment of we mentioned briefly the moment with Christopherson crying.
Yeah.
On the table. I'm such a big fan of that moment where he just Ash kind of hates him right now. He hears him crying, so he just goes down, doesn't say a word, and just turns the train set on, and they just share this silent moment.
Which I think it's really reminiscent of how actual kids act towards each other, because it's so simple and so easy, but it shows that there's connection between them that's starting to happen.
Yeah.
And there's an empathy that's within Ash. He's jealous of him, he's hateful towards him because, Christopherson is everything that he can't be.
Yeah.
And I feel at this point in time, he's starting to realize that, he can't be that, but this kid's dad is, like, low-key dying, and, like, it's bad. Like, I feel like he feels like Christopherson, in a way... I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like there's that moment of kinship between them.
Just bonding over
Silent.
whatever trains generally represent.
Yeah, over
like
just
the passage of time or whatever, I don't know.
Because in the... Wait a minute, you might be right, because in a lot of the background scenes, trains pass.
Yeah.
Which is what I've noticed, that there's a lot of, like, there's, like, any single time that a scene happens and it flips, there's a train.
Yeah, that's
So
like trains in like literature generally represent like moving from one place to the next,
or even like one like key moment to the next.
Yeah, look at Harry Potter with the train station, right? With like the afterlife or whatever it is. Wasn't it a train station? Do you remember? Am I being like? Am I?
The train station was how you got to Hogwarts.
Yeah, no, I know the like platform 9 3/4, but what after he got like Avada Kedavra? Didn't Harry, like, see Dumbledore at what appeared to be a train station or something? I might be talking completely out of my ass.
No, the thing is that you might be right, because I just haven't watched past, like, the fourth one, because David Tennant was in the fourth one, and I just didn't watch past that, because it wasn't in any of the other ones. Because my mom was watching it one night, and I was like, okay. I was watching it with her, and then, and, like, the camp gets raided, and, like, you know, fire and brimstone, oblivion, and I was like... Oh yeah, like the weird guy comes on, and then I was like, the weird guy's hot! It's David Tennant! I was like, oh my god! And then he had that like weird like tongue thing, and I was like, okay, interesting. This is weird.
Hello, father.
Father. And he like flicked his tongue out, and I was like, what? What the?
He's a freaky.
He's freaky.
Yeah.
Instead of like Harry Potter, it was like Harry Fecal, and instead of like doing magic, we got freaky. That's like the entire thing of like what I was watching. I was like, okay, sure.
Anyway,
I love that joke. I love the freaky joke. You don't think it's fun? I think it's hilarious.
I think it has its ups and downs. So I think it's funny when I do it.
Was that a down for you?
I'm not sure what it was.
Okay.
I don't know if it was good or bad. It just was. It was a Lilyism. Fire truck. Wee woo.
Oh well.
Someone's in trouble.
Oh, I made that joke one time. I made a joke and I was like somebody better be dying, because I heard a siren go past. Somebody was dying, in fact.
That's not good. That's.
I made that joke 4 years ago. I haven't made it ever again. I'm so serious. Like, I'll never make it again. I was like.
Traumatic.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
What have I done?
I was like, did I do that?
You spoke it into being.
Yeah. I think, therefore I am.
Man, what was I about to say? Oh, yeah, with the freak, somewhat related to the freaky jokes. I've come to this point in the cycle of jokes with Hawk Tuah jokes where they're like so bad they're funny now. They're so stupid. I hate them so much that I like them. It
depends on like what it is. I saw this one the other day. I can't for the life of me like remember what it was, but it was really clever, and I was like, okay, that's really funny. But like I don't like the Hawk Tuah thing. Like you gotta.
It's so dumb.
You gotta do the Hawk. She's like going on tour with like.
She has a podcast now, the Talk Tuah podcast. You didn't know this?
No, is that what it's called?
It's called Talk Tuah.
You know what? I can't even be mad at that. That's amazing.
You gotta respect the hustle.
To be honest, at that point, yeah. But she was like going on tour with like musicians and shit. And I was like,
gosh.
What am I gonna do?
Anything interesting there? In the notes.
I like this one thing that just says Rolling Stones on it.
Oh yeah, there was a Rolling Stones song. I loved that when they were like demolishing the tree. Mm-hmm. That was good, and again the music throughout. Just all these needle drops were great.
I like the I Get Around with like the yelling.
The emojis.
The yelling emoji, which is another Beatles. Nope, Beach Boys.
Beach Boys. Good job. What the bastard. Okay.
Dude, why does this happen every time we try to do a podcast?
Don't know. Okay.
What
did Task Dylan from approximately 4 hours ago also say?
Let's see. I'm not looking at it right now.
What are we looking at?
Oh yeah, the quote from the book and then the book's cover, the direct quote from the book. What quote was that? Do you remember?
I want to say it was about Boggs, Bunce, and Bean, just, like, describing them.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. It was, like, it was that little, like, paragraph that you could see right on there.
Like, I love how right off the bat they're, like, so open about how they're gonna... Well, it's not even that faithful of an adaptation of the book, I think. But, like...
I think it, like, takes the characters and the overall story.
Yeah, it takes the spirit, I think, of the book.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a lot of very clear love for Roald Dahl. Apparently, it was the first book Wes Anderson, like, owned Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, so...
Mine was a Bob book.
A Bob book.
Do you remember those?
I remember those.
If you don't know what a Bob book is, it's, like, it's the books that taught you how to read.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be, like, the hen jumped. One of them was, like, hop on pop. Pop hopped off. And, like, that, it was, like, 4 pages.
Wasn't Hop on Pop a Dr. Seuss book?
It was.
It was.
And then whoever Bob was took that and made a different one. So, thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Shout out to Bob.
Shout out to Bob. He made me read. Shout out to Bob.
Hey, reading's good for the mind.
Yes,
Expanding
it was. My first book that I could read after that was, and it says a lot about who I am now, is the Magic Treehouse books.
Yes.
Those were the first books that I was able to read.
I loved those.
My favorite one was Civil War on Sunday. When Mr. and Mrs. Fox had the conversation in the mineral deposit.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
That was really beautiful. I'm like, what does it mean? It's beautiful, but what does it mean?
I don't know, but maybe, like, the way that my analytical brain thinks about it is that, and maybe it's because I've been so hounded by my English teachers in the past that have been like a red curtain doesn't mean like the red doesn't just mean like the curtain's red. It means all those other things.
Yes.
So like Wes Anderson could have done that and just been like pretty moment.
Yeah.
Like to be like a different thing.
Well, you think about it too, and he could have just done like another little empty. I mean, they're in a dirt hole. Like it could have just been more dirt, but no, he decided to put them in a mineral deposit.
Right, yeah, which, like, it could be, like, from a creator's view, and, like, a cinematic view, it could be just to get a different texture in with the film, but, like, again, you can think about it in the more analytical and deeper way of that, like, it's a mineral deposit, so it's raw. So in that moment, they're having their raw conversation, and she's kind of giving him, like, this ultimatum of, like, either you figure this out, or we're dead.
Yeah.
Or, like, you figure it out, like, I didn't marry you for this, like, you need to figure yourself out. And, like, in a way, because it's a raw mineral deposit, so it's beautiful and in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're kind of having this, like, raw moment that's beautiful.
Just these very personal...
Where she gets to lash out at him. Like, she's been very patient the entire film, and then finally
I'm gonna lose my temper now.
When?
Scratches
yeah,
him.
I'm losing my temper. When? Now. Right now? Right now. And then just, like, wah! And what I loved in that moment is that his eyes watered up because of the scratch. Like, I don't know if you caught that, but, like, when he got scratched on the cheek, his eyes watered like it hurt. And I was like, that's a wonderful...
It's a great detail.
It's a great detail, because,
like you didn't have to do that. You probably just made a lot more work for your animators.
Right.
But you did do that, and I appreciate it.
It was wonderful. It was something that was, like, it gives you a little bit more realism to
It's giving realism.
the movie. It's giving
Yes.
realism. It's giving, like, it's just something that I appreciated. So, like, they're both in this beautiful sort of moment, and they're in a beautiful cave, and I feel like it's in that moment where he's kind of like, okay, like I have to either tighten up or, like, get a hold of myself.
Yeah, and they have another one of those very personal moments too when they're in the sewer by the waterfall. Yes, like, and both times there are these very, like, beautiful backdrops, just pretty, and it's this very personal moment where, is it the first one or the second one where she's like, I love you,
but I wish I hadn't married you.
Yeah, which is, like, heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
First of all.
Like, that's awful, like, but you can understand why.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that point, that's when he kind of goes, I have to do this. Where, like... It starts to get into him, because, like, up until this point, he's just kind of running off of, like, what his plans are, and, like, this plan, and then at this moment, when his wife is like, you weren't a good fit for me, and, like, my family, like, I love you, but, like, you just not good. She kind of gets to say at this point, like, this is your fault. and I feel like because of the waterfall, it allows you. It's blue. The color is blue. That's like the only blue.
Yeah, there's not a lot of blue in the movie.
There's not a lot of blue. Like, not even the sky is blue. It's like a beige with like clouds in it. So like the moment gets to be like sad, and it gets to be like heart wrenching. But I feel like it kind of draws them closer together.
Oh, definitely.
But one of the things that I appreciated as well when he's going up, when he's like going to go like surrender to them, he doesn't like give a speech. Like, in any other big point within the movie, he gives a speech, and at this point, he just goes, bye.
Yeah, like when the yapper is finally, like, shutting up. Mm-hmm. It's, like, do you know, is he being serious now, or
right. And they're all kind of watching, and, like, at this point, it's very clear that they all think that, like, he's the leader of all the group, because Bill Murray's character is like, so we should get up in groups, right? And everybody's like, they just, like, look at him. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay.
I liked when Bill Murray, when the Badger, like, starts to give a toast, and then Mr. Fox just interrupts him and, like, hijacks the whole thing.
He, like, sits down. He's like, okay. That was great, though. Wonderful movie.
Oh, it's so wonderful. It's just all around wonderful.
Willem Dafoe was in it.
Willem Dafoe was in it.
the rat.
The rat. Like, I love when directors and writers just let Willem Dafoe be a freak.
Which is the perfect name for that freak.
Mm-hmm. Which is most of his like filmography is being
the Green
a freak.
Goblin.
Green Goblin, The Lighthouse, which I haven't seen yet, but I know he's just.
What's The Lighthouse?
It's like these two lighthouse keepers, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
It's like a black and white thriller movie, and they're talking in like a New England White House in the 1800s. And they're trapped together, and they start to like go crazy.
Insane.
Like I know Willem Dafoe says something like, "You like me, lobster? you looking at me, lobster?" I don't know, something like that. That's like most of my knowledge of the movie, and also I think it's Pattinson that like hallucinates a mermaid or something and starts jorking it. I don't know, but like I said, they like to let Willem Dafoe be freaky. So he was Jesus Christ once. That's not really freaky.
I did know that.
But
that wasn't freaky, but I feel like, you know.
He's a great actor.
I love Willem Dafoe. Wonderful. Because I didn't recognize that what he's really good at is his voice.
Yeah.
His voice technique is amazing, because at first I was like, I don't know who that rat is. I was like, I don't know who that is. And
like,
then
he has a distinct voice, but he also, like, he's good at modulating it, I guess.
His talking voice is distinct, but if he has a different character, you don't know who it is.
Like, he did the southern accent.
That was I really loved the Clint Eastwood aspect of it, but he had this really odd cinematography to it, and like the way, or choreography, the way that like the rat moved was very odd. Like his character distinction was his switchblade that he would switch on, like, and something happened or like talked about,
and he kept doing that snap.
That was really odd, and then but I liked in the end, like towards his like demise, was when he did the little like the West Side Story snaps towards the guy, and I was like, I know where that's from. I know that. So it was a nice little like nod to that movie. But having like yet another like American accent with it just kind of felt really nice. But one thing that I was confused about is like, because when you first meet the rat, he's sipping off a cider. Right? And then in the end, he's like, all I wanted was a sip of, like, the guy's cider. And I was like, you already had that.
Was he sipping cider, or was he sipping, like, juice? Or was it the... I assume it was the cider.
It was the cider.
Maybe he just wanted more. I don't know.
It was really weird, but, like, I didn't really understand that part. So maybe I need to, like, go back and, like, actually read the label of it. But, like, I was like, you had that, though.
Maybe, I don't know, like, it definitely, obviously everything means something. It's a Wes Anderson movie.
Everything means something.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted, he had some sort of ambition or another. It's tricky. Like, some of it's pretty, like, more obvious than other parts. And that's what I love about these movies, is that they're very fascinating. So it's not often that you find a movie that's like both lovely to watch and fascinating to think about afterwards.
Yeah, no. It's like I love movies like that because you can watch a movie, and a lot of movies, you watch it and you enjoy it and you can talk about it after, but you can't analyze it.
Yes.
There's nothing that you can, like, within Jurassic Park, it all just happens. There's nothing that you can analyze. You can, like,
I think you can analyze parts of
parts
it.
of it, but you can't break it down like you can a Wes Anderson film. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be like them being in, like, a crystal
Yeah,
room.
it's not exactly, like, poetic in the same way.
It's not poetic. Like, you can analyze it and be like, well, he thought this thing, and, like, blah, blah, blah. But you can't break it down on, like, an English sort of format. Or, like, an MLA sort of thing. You can analyze any movie that you want.
Oh, for sure.
But you can't make it poetic in a way that, like Wes Anderson can.
Yeah. And he's great. I just watched a movie by Paul Thomas Anderson, Punch Drunk Love, which I thought was kind of in a similar category.
His brother?
What?
That is
No, completely unrelated.
Okay, but it's just, like, the same last name?
Yeah, it's another Anderson.
Oh, okay. He's just there.
It stars Adam Sandler in a great performance, actually. And it's kind of a romantic sort of movie, dark comedy. And it's another one of those. It's like kind of both lovely to watch and fascinating to think about afterwards, but in a very different way because it has a lot of these themes of like loneliness and love and anger and all that stuff. Highly recommend it. Another one with great use of color.
Yeah.
But Wes Anderson, like I really want to watch a lot more of his movies. I've seen a few.
Yeah.
I have a poster of his right up there.
That's right.
Asteroid City. Which it's not my favorite of his, but I thought it has a cool poster.
Yeah.
And I got it from work for free, so.
For free.
So that's fun.
That's always nice. I mean, great film. I mean, I feel like the actors did what they were supposed to do.
Fantastic film, you might say.
Fantastic. What I liked about Mr. Fox is that a lot of people can relate to him. And especially his moment of realness when he was, like, on the waterfall talking with his wife, being like, I think I know where it comes from, and I think it's this need to be, you know, this fantastic Mr. Fox, as people might say, and if people don't like me and like aren't at least a little intimidated by me, then I don't matter as much. And I feel like a lot of people relate to that one little bit in the movie where, like, a lot of people I feel like have to front that they're this big, awesome person, or else people think that they're boring. Like, I meet a lot of people that are, like, me monsters, and they're like, me, like, I do all this stuff. And I feel like, at a certain point, you kind of have to think, like, I understand, like, why you do that. Like, it's, like, if you're not, if I don't come across as, like, dazzling and amazing and at least a little bit intimidating, then, like, who am I?
No, he's such a fascinating character. Like, he wouldn't have been the same if he was written by anyone else.
No.
Or if he was acted by anyone else.
George Clooney did a fantastic job.
I agree wholeheartedly. And that relatability aspect is such a huge part of it. I think, like, I can relate to, like, feeling like I need to put something up for people to...
absolutely.
You know, for people to like me or whatever. And it's kind of funny, too, like, George Clooney doing it, because it's, like, the second movie I want to say that he's done that's, like, about George Clooney coming back to do one last heist or whatever, because he does the same exact thing in Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11, that's right.
Yeah. But I don't know I think it was just coincidence, but it's funny that he almost has a shtick.
Right, yeah. Of escaping things. Because he did no, he didn't do it, but, what I found a similarity between Chicken Run and Fantastic Mr. Fox is that, like, Mel Gibson, he did the voice of, like, Rocky. Rocky Rooster.
Because he was a different animal too, right?
Because he was American.
Yeah.
He was American and British. So it kind of, like, he brought in, like, the big colors into, like, the small little thing and, like, kind of, like, saved everybody. But it was, just the voice work of it all was that, like, I feel like nobody else could do the realness in the voice work, and I feel like especially for a lot of actors, Fantastic Mr. Fox rings true to a lot of them, especially with his quote of being dazzling and intimidating. Is that a lot of actors will get lost in this, and I've seen it happen, will get lost in this sort of thing of they become actors because they're not happy with themselves, so they'll pull different parts of their favorite characters, and that'll be their personality. And, like, they'll make that themselves, which, like, it sounds really weird and, like kind of sad. But a lot of like actors do it because they're trying to find what role fits them.
They don't like who they really are, so
Yeah.
they try to be
Try to
something
create
else.
something else.
Yeah.
So a lot of actors will be over boisterous and like be like loud and proud about it because they want everybody to like them.
Yeah, like the fame almost gets to their heads, and it's
Even like smaller actors, even like community actors and things like that.
yeah.
Just that it's the need of attention and want of like each role that you get, you have to do it your best, and like it's the applause. That's the biggest
the
part.
cheers. They crave the audience approval.
The audience approval, which like I've seen a lot of times, and I've had it with myself as well, with like because with like acting and things, where like you do your role and you do a really good job of it, and then you get the approval for it, and you're like, okay, you approve this part of like whatever, but not a lot of actors get this amazing chance to be themselves. And I had that chance to like, because I played best friend for a show last year called Basically for VTA, and even in like the script and like and everything that I did, I was essentially playing myself, and which is kind of funny for me because I was like, this is great, I get to be what I want to be.
That's fun.
And so I was able to play the character as myself basically, as I was like wearing, because like the costumes were like present day, so we all just wore our clothes from home. So I just like wore like legitimately this, and wore like a tie-dye t-shirt. And I remember like at the end of the play, I was getting like the applause that I got. I was like, this is great because you're not applauding this character, you're applauding me.
Yeah.
You don't know it.
I don't.
But this is how I am, and you like this. So it's a gratification thing. It's always a certain thing with them. So that's what I feel like. And that's like Mr. Fox. I feel like everybody can relate to at least one character.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. I've seen people say like Ash is a big.
Yeah, it's a big thing, especially with like parents like comparing them.
Yeah.
To somebody else.
I think some like neurodivergent people like identify with him.
Yeah.
Quite a lot being different.
Yeah.
Not necessarily wanting to be different, but like being different, and you kind of have to come to terms with that some way or another. And it's just such a wonderful movie.
It has something for everyone.
It does. There are some movies where like if you don't like it, I trust you slightly less as a person.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, like what's an example?
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
Like,
well, I'm not like a different movie. Like, what's a good movie that like?
I don't trust people who don't shoot. I would normally have like so many examples right now. I'm drawing a blank right now. I don't trust people who do not like The Princess Bride.
Yep.
I don't trust people who don't like Back to the Future.
I never watched that.
Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is a big one. What was I saying?
Have you ever seen this movie called Willow?
I've heard of it with Warwick Davis.
You have to watch it.
I know.
It has one of the Batman players in it. Some guy plays Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Michael Keaton. It's not
Val Kilmer.
It's Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer.
That's who it is. It's Val Kilmer. Dude, the movie itself, beautiful. I love it. It reminds me of a better Dark Crystal. Like
really?
if I were to like, it has like the same like, because Jim Henson also worked on it. He also worked on Willow.
Okay.
It's on Disney Plus.
I know they did like a sequel series or something to it.
It
wasn't good.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't even like try to. I was like, the sequel series never like, they're not good.
It didn't.
And I feel like the movie Willow itself, it didn't need a sequel series because it explained everything. Like there wasn't any
just
part.
A nice beginning, nice end.
There wasn't
like Labyrinth. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but there wasn't a part at all. Labyrinth 2 is confirmed. That's coming out.
Yes.
There wasn't a part in Willow where I felt unsatisfied. Where I felt like the story didn't oh my god. The story didn't need to continue on because it had everything that it needed to be. It was all that it could be, and it was all that it needed to be. And in that like moment, it's like Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Like you don't want a sequel because that's it.
Because it's so perfect.
It's so perfect.
It wraps itself up so neatly.
That's it. That's because that's all you need, and that's what Willow is. Because it has the perfect beginning of like setting up the exposition, and then the climax is really weird to me because there's multiple climaxes within the movie. There's multiple points where you feel like this could be it, and then it keeps going on. There's some parts of it where I'm like, this visual sucks, and like the puppeteering like makes me like oh my god, what am I watching?
Right.
But overall, the story of the entire thing, it's wonderful. I love it. And another podcast should be made on that movie alone.
On Willow.
Willow
Okay.
is so good.
I'll add it to the list.
There's a lot of things
There's
to talk
so
about
much on
with
my
that.
list.
Real.
Yeah, a lot to talk about with Willow. There's been a lot to talk about with Mr. Fox. We've been at this a while. We could probably wrap this up unless you had anything else you wanted to go over.
I think pretty much I've said everything, and like, but just the overall feeling of it was, homey. It's
a very cozy movie.
Cozy. It felt very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to watch this movie, but I feel like you can only watch this movie when it gets colder outside.
Yeah, it's very much a fall movie.
It's a fall movie. Like, there's still, like, leaves on the trees in the movies and stuff, or in like, the movie itself, but it has a very, like, you can, like, feel the movie, and it feels cold. And
Yes.
it feels like you can, like, smell, like, the air. Because fall has, like, a certain air to it.
Yeah,
And you can
love
smell that,
fall
like,
air.
it's so good. But, like, you can smell that through the movie's touchable, and it's very, like, it's visually pleasing.
It is.
To literally everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. The song choice as well was amazing, because I loved the sequence of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Just how everything's put together. Just not a single... I don't think they made a wrong choice.
There was
movie.
nothing, I'll say this, there was nothing in the movie that I felt didn't need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with, like, the labyrinth, there was a few moments where I was like, we could have cut down time because we didn't need this.
No.
Or, like, there was, like, a few lines where I felt like we didn't need this. We needed the entire movie.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else that we needed.
Yeah, it's like, with Fantastic Mr. Fox, I always hesitate to call it a perfect movie, but, like, I
think it's
can't
perfect.
think of anything that makes it imperfect.
I can't find a flaw.
Yeah.
I literally cannot find a flaw.
Mm-hmm. It's a masterpiece. Like, I think that's undeniable. And
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll ever really get bored of this movie. Like, it's one I'd like to watch at least once a year, probably.
It's a very, like... It's an autumn movie, because there are certain movies that you watch when it gets fall out, and those are usually like Hocus Pocus
Yeah,
and things
like,
that.
usually... Like, I like fall movies that aren't Halloween movies. As much as I
But
love
that's
Halloween
the thing,
movies.
is that like there's a difference between like fall and like Halloween.
Yes.
And I feel like Wes Anderson does a beautiful job of giving us a fall movie.
He's big on the fall aesthetic.
On the fall aesthetic, because like we don't get a lot of movies in fall that are just fall.
Like, what else is... There's, like, When Harry Met Sally,
Then Harry Met Sally.
Good Will Hunting.
I feel like watching Winnie the Pooh movies or fall.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Winnie the Pooh movies, and like when it comes fall.
I respect it.
Thank you. The Tigger movie, when I was a kid, made me cry.
Aw.
I'm serious. I was like 6 years old, and I was like, Tigger doesn't have a family. Where's his family at,
Aw.
guys? I was like, no. And then, because I had a Tigger like onesie that I would wear, and then I would watch a movie in that. And then I would like jump around.
That's adorable.
I would like jump around like on like the couches pretending to be him. And my mom was like, "We gotta get rid of that thing." She was like, "We cannot be doing this," because like I think one of the things that I liked about Tigger a lot was because like every Winnie the Pooh,
He's so unashamedly himself.
every single single Winnie the Pooh character represents a different mental disorder. So like I'm serious, it's a real
Really?
thing. It's
Okay.
a real thing where like Eeyore
Yours
represents
depression, obviously.
A rabbit is OCD.
Okay.
Rabbit's OCD, and
I can see
Tigger
it.
is ADHD. And I have that severely.
And you kind of identify with.
And I have that, so I've always been like, Tigger's amazing. And, so, like, a thing that I saw,
Is Pooh just gluttony, or
I think he is, actually.
you think so?
I
Okay.
I don't know, I'll have to look it up, actually, but one of the things that I saw was that, like, all the characters of Winnie the Pooh, they're all just inside Christopher Robin's head, and
Right.
it's the different personalities that he has.
Well, because the original like writer made it based on his son Christopher Robin and his stuffed animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw the original like Winnie the Pooh stuffed
That's
animal at like the New York Library.
Did
I
you?
think? Yeah.
You told me about this, actually.
I might have.
I think you sent me a
did.
picture
Yeah.
of, like, Tigger and Eeyore.
Which is pretty wild. I don't know if I saw Tigger, but I definitely saw the original Pooh Bear, which was crazy.
Yeah, so, which was like the 1920s, I think. That's when they were made. So the Winnie the Pooh mental illness, I don't like that word. I feel like mental disorder. So Winnie himself has an eating disorder. Piglet has anxiety.
Of course.
Tigger has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is ADHD. Owl has narcissistic personality disorder. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh!
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I'll get to that in a minute. Rabbit has obsessive compulsive disorder, which is OCD. And then Eeyore has major depressive disorder. And it says Christopher Robin has schizophrenia. Oh my gosh. So, this is all like confirmed by like the actual Winnie the Pooh guy. So, has schizophrenia. So I don't know if like his son had schizophrenia or I don't.
Maybe it was just an active imagination.
This is what I
would
think.
assume.
Yeah, but yeah. So that is how that is, and then but the movies that I find cozy, I found are fall movies.
Yeah.
Because they give a sense of like. Anything could be like a spring or like a summer movie. I feel like Dazed and Confused is a very summer movie.
I love Dazed and
Confused. Dazed and Confused! Oh my god! I love that movie so much. It's just like, it's so unashamedly what teenagers are like.
Yes.
Even like...
Like the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, it's just, it has everything what they're like, of like cheating on somebody, going behind their back, and like never telling them.
It's like, it's so,
doing drugs.
It's so good, because it's like a relic from the 70s, a love letter to the 70s, right?
It is.
But also, like, you see these teenagers, like, teenage culture, some aspects never change.
Teenagers have always been the same.
Yes.
They've always been.
Always have been, always will be.
They always will be, which is what I think is so beautiful, because, like, teenagers in the 70s, like, the movie itself was made in the 80s, I think.
In the 90s.
Was it in the 90s? Right.
I believe so.
Okay, so then, like, it's a nod to the 70s, but it's, not a nod, it was made for the 70s.
Yeah.
But it showed kids, like, drag racing and, like, going out, like, going to, like, the football field and, like, hanging out with, like, their friends and doing drugs. And I'm like, which is the big thing back then, but I'm like, even now, I'm like, that's everything that I know.
The experience of working a service job, too.
Yeah, oh my god,
just, I'm like, oh.
No, literally, literally, like screaming.
I relate with, what's his name? Judge Reinhold, was it? Yeah, I'm like, I feel you, dude.
Like, because, like, I love the cliques in it all of that, like, there's, like, the nerdy group that's, like, we have to do something in our lives, guys.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to do this, whatever, and the guy's like, I want to dance! Like, I put that all the time. I was like, I thought you were going to go to law school.
And then there's Matthew McConaughey. That's what I like about freshmen. I keep getting older. They stay the same age. All right.
I love his all right line because, like, it wasn't supposed to be in there. Because he thought that, like, the scene was over, and he was like, all right. And then they were like, oh, we're still going. But he was like, okay. Yeah. But, like, it has everything that teenagers are and always will be.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a summer movie. Like, it's not cozy. It makes you want to go out and, like, go drag racing.
Yeah.
And, like, it makes you, like, want to go out.
It makes you want to go out and do something. Be a teenager.
Just be a teenager.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, just go out and, like, enjoy it.
Which, the writer for that, I want to say it was Cameron Crowe who wrote it, which he made one of my other favorite movies, which is Almost Famous. We did an episode on that. Go watch.
I saw that.
And apparently he based the script on, like, partially on his own life.
Really?
Which is probably why it was so realistic.
On Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the movie I always think of, like, in relation to Dazed and Confused is American Graffiti. Yeah. I don't know if do you know it? So, it was made by George Lucas. It was his, like, first or second movie.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, real quick. Willow wasn't made by Jim Henson. It was made by George Lucas.
I feel like
that's why I was like, that's who I was thinking. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
But it was again based on his own life, like growing up a teenager in the 60s. Sorry, right after graduating, and it's another movie like Dazed and Confused where it's a bunch of different storylines about these teenagers. They've all like just graduated or they're just about to graduate. I can't remember. Yeah, and it's a coming of age sort of thing, and it's just a love letter to the time period where he grew up. Wonderful. And the soundtrack's immaculate. And
does it have Beatles songs in it?
No Beatles songs, I don't think. But it's just all very the 60s. I don't think they could afford the Beatles.
Yeah, no, they actually couldn't afford the Beatles, which is why the Minecraft movie can afford the Beatles song. The Minecraft movie's main song is a freaking Beatles song. It's freaking Magical Mystery Tour. How could they afford that?
Do you know how much money Minecraft has made?
It's billions.
Yes.
But to get a Beatles movie, I mean a Beatles song, how could they? How could Paul McCartney, Paul McCharmley, do that to us? And Ringo.
I am Steve.
I hate that movie! Oh my god, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like...
It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so bad.
It's right behind you. I'm like...
I wanted it to be good so badly, and I saw the trailer, because I grew up on Minecraft.
And everybody our age did.
Yes. And I wanted this movie to be good so badly.
Yeah.
I knew deep down, I always knew it wasn't going to be.
What y'all know about Bedrock? Literally.
But yeah, like, Minecraft's been such a huge part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a movie, which I'm sure I would have loved the movie regardless of its quality if I was younger. But now I'm a pretentious son of a bitch who likes to critique things.
The frontal lobe is starting to develop.
Yeah.
It's starting to develop, and I can feel it developing because I go to bed at like 10:30 now.
Wow, look at you.
I know, right? Fantastic Mr. Fox is such a cozy, beautiful
cozy
movie. Like, as well as somebody like who grew up hating warm colors for some reason, I did. I hated warm colors because in my mind I was like, I don't like the way that a lot of like warm colored foods taste, so I don't like the color.
Okay.
Because I didn't like candy corn. I still don't like it. I don't like candy corn, and I don't like the pumpkin candies that are like the same texture as candy corn, because it's like chalk to me. And I was like, yellow and orange are part of that, and it makes me disgusted. So I didn't like it.
Fascinating.
But now that I'm older, and just recently in the past like year, I started to like warm colors and have a bigger appreciation for them. It's just like it's cozy. It's inviting. Is
Very
what it
much
is.
so.
Which is why I think the movie itself, you get drawn into it because warm colors are inviting.
Yeah.
Like yellow and orange and red, it's homey. It feels
very
like
much. Yeah, very homey.
Yeah, because I mean, like blue and green, even like cinematically, it's represented as this like as something's going to happen, like something is happening,
like
and it's
colder,
a serious moment.
Like the Matrix, like whenever they're in the Matrix, it's got like a distinct green filter over it.
Yeah.
And then in the real world has like a blue filter. I think it's been years since I watched the Matrix.
Right. So, but it's got that feeling to it, and I feel like a lot of movies don't really have that feeling. I feel like a lot of Wes Anderson movies, like if you want a fall movie, just watch Wes Anderson.
Watch Wes Anderson. Some of it's summer, some of it's winter, but like
a majority of Wes Anderson has this just cozy feeling to it.
Definitely.
And I feel like I'm trying to think of like other movies that I feel like have the same vibe as Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I think it's very few non-Wes Anderson movies have that kind of vibe. Fall vibes for sure. Like we went over a few, but I do love like movies that just have the vibe of a certain season. Like you have all these which Christmas movies are different from winter movies.
What's a winter movie to you? Like what's a winter movie?
The last like third of Dead Poets Society probably. The first like majority of it would be a fall movie. I'd say. So.
Oh, I got a good fall movie. The Bubble Boy.
The Bubble Boy. I haven't seen it.
Jake Gyllenhaal. That's a good fall movie.
Okay.
It's like because it gets Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh!
That's a fall movie.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Napoleon Dynamite. That is such a fall movie.
That's probably the most Wes Anderson movie that's not Wes Anderson.
That's not Wes Anderson. I love Napoleon Dynamite. I love it so much.
I love it.
It is one of my favorite movies ever, and because it's just three dorks the entire movie. Yeah. And I'm like, that's me.
And it's another movie like Wes Anderson-esque, not just because of the aesthetic, but because it's about these like outsiders, right, who kind of find their place in things.
It's such a good movie, and like it plays into this like awkward moment of like you have like this awkward kid who closes his eyes because he doesn't like to see people when he's like performing in class.
Yeah. And
like it's different. He's a different person, but like it just shows another like coming of age story almost.
Yeah.
Where, like,
it definitely is.
But it's filmed in what, like Idaho, I think. So
something like that.
It's just so cozy. It's like, but again, I feel like it's cozy because it has a warm tone to it. Like all like the wheat fields and stuff, it's all orange. Like it has this coziness to it that I feel like is associated with a lot of fall things.
Yeah, fall's a cozy season. I feel like it's almost underrated for that. People kind of like to think about the I don't know, think about Halloween, maybe Thanksgiving when they think about fall. But there's more to it than that. I think it's kind of underrated as a season. Like a lot of the time people like to say winter's my favorite season. No, it's not. Christmas is your favorite holiday.
Christmas is the only good thing about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the only good thing about winter. Anything else? Yeah. Boo! It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, and I want to die.
True.
The entire season.
Tell me you actually like January and February.
There's a reason why The Amazing World of Gumball put in January. Literally. Because, like, and February sucks because Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like, I hate watching other people be happy. Every year. Yeah. Every year.
Like from the sideline, that should be me. Literally, though. But it's just, like, there's nothing to do in those months. And then, like, March is, like, it could be 70 one day and then 20 degrees the next.
And then spring, I just don't like spring. That's when my allergies are at their worst. And then summer's fine. We don't have school. It's hot, but, like, I like heat, generally.
I'm warm-blooded.
Yeah.
I love the warmth.
And fall, I think I love fall.
Fall is my favorite season also because my birthday's in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
October birthdays.
Woo! Let's go. Oh yeah, that's right. Our birthdays are in October.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But it's an amazing season. Not only because I feel like for fall there's something for everybody. It's like it could be the clothing for some people, or it could be like the baking that's usually associated with fall. But everything about fall is it has something for everybody, whether it's you like the Halloween aspect of it, or you like the Thanksgiving, or you like just fall in general. Yeah. There's something for everybody, and that can't be said about like summer or spring or winter. I love summer. Summer is my favorite season overall. I love fall, close second, but summer is my favorite season because I can do stuff. Like, I love going to, like, the beach, and I love the water. I love, like, hiking and, like, going on, like, kayaking and stuff. Yeah. So summer really appeals to me. But fall is wonderful because that's when you get to stay inside.
Like you said, it's homey.
Fall, you can stay inside and not feel bad about it. Within, like, the summer, it's so nice outside. I feel like I have to do something. But in fall,
But at the same time, you can go outside. Like, going outside is still an option, and you're not getting, like, frostbitten.
Or you're not
and you're not sweating bugs. You're not getting bit by bugs. You're not sweating your balls off.
That's right.
It's great. And Mr. Fox, like, totally encapsulates the fall feeling.
Yes. That's very fall. I feel like The Breakfast Club is very fall.
Yes, it totally is.
The Breakfast Club.
Fall, I feel like it could go under summer as well.
It could go, because it's like kids in summer. Yeah. But I feel like it's kind of like homey enough that it could be fall. It's something that you can like watch and cozy up to.
Definitely. Definitely. I was talking about fall movies with my dad. He said The Holdovers, which it came out a year or so ago, I think. I want to say 2 years ago now. It's kind of a Christmas movie. It is a Christmas movie because it takes place around Christmas.
What's it called?
The Holdovers.
The Holdovers. What's it about?
Paul Giamatti. So they're at this private school, right? And it's winter break. And all the private school kids are going home to their parents or whatever because it's winter vacation. But this one kid has to stay behind because his parents are like, they didn't sign off for him to go home.
It's like Harry Potter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Just the vibe is kind of fall-ish, despite there being snow everywhere. It again goes with like the homey nature. They kind of cozy up to one another over time. And it's really just a sweet movie. It's very feel-good.
A Beatles movie. I'm serious. Any single Beatles movie ever except for Help, because that's filmed in Miami. Right. So that's a summer movie. But literally any other like Beatles movie that you want to watch, boom, fall movie. Especially A Hard Day's Night. That's fall immediately. Yeah. Any black and white movie, fall.
You think so?
That's what I think.
You think It's a Wonderful Life is...
You know, I had to watch that in econ last year.
Really?
I hated it. I don't like that movie.
Oh, Lily. Oh, you're breaking my heart.
I think it's lame. I said the L word. I just didn't like it because it's been tired out, and I didn't enjoy it that much. I think maybe it was because also I had to watch it during school, and I had to write a paper about it on economics. And he was like, why did the main character have to give up his house? And I was like, I don't really care. Also, it was like the day before Winter Break let out that we watched it, and I was like tapped out.
Oh, you don't know what you just said to me. Oh my goodness.
But it was, but like, I only remember a little bit of it, and like the biggest thing that I remember from that movie is like, anytime that a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Yes, it's like, so sweet.
And I was
it's
like,
so cute.
okay.
Oh my gosh! Like you don't even understand. There was like it felt like just a shiver went through my body when you said I don't like It's a Wonderful Life. That's so sad to me. That's so heartbreaking. That's so sad. That makes me sad. You make me sad.
You make me sad. Oh, I'm sorry. But I just didn't enjoy it. What do you like about it?
I love everything about it.
You like the guy jumping off the bridge?
What? Yes! It's a perfect Christmas movie. It's
I like the suicide.
My family has watched it every Christmas Eve for years. It is a wonderful film. I will take it is a great film, and I will not take It's a Wonderful Life slander in this house.
All right. It's bad.
I can't believe you just said this.
What do you think about A Christmas Story?
I love a Christmas story.
Okay,
I love
good.
A Christmas Story.
I like that movie a lot, actually.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a Red Ryder rifle at Walmart the other day, and I was like,
I have one somewhere.
do you?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I wanted one because of that movie.
Dude, me too. That's why I wanted it.
Yes.
But I watched It's a Wonderful Life, and it bored me.
That saddens me so much. Wow.
What's good about it?
Everything!
It's not. What's like your favorite part about the movie?
Story. It makes me smile. That's my favorite part.
It makes me... Wait, do you ever, like, watch a show or, like, watch a movie and you catch yourself smiling and you're like, what are you smiling about? I'm like, just not smiling.
Bitch, what are you happy about?
What are you happy
you
about?
have to be happy
I love the
for.
comments about that. Do you ever, like, I see, like, this, like, wholesome, like, reel on Instagram, and I'll be like, oh, it's, like, that's cute. And I'll open up the comments and they're like, stop smiling.
You ain't got nothing to be happy about.
Why are you smiling? You're with this couple. It's like...
Man,
you're right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I think another fall movie could be Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good fall movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still gotta watch that, actually.
You haven't seen it?
No, I have not seen it, but my favorite part of the entire movie, I haven't watched it, but I watched...
Shout?
No, but yes. Now that I know that, it will be. No, it's the part where, it's like 30 seconds, maybe like 40 seconds long, and he's like $20 says Cameron's still sitting in his car debating on whether or not to still go out. He's like, he'll keep calling me. He'll keep calling me to come over. He'll keep telling me to come over.
I love Cameron.
I love Cameron so much.
So much.
He'll keep calling. He'll keep calling me until I come over. He won't let it go. Alright, that's it. I'll go. I love that bit. I love Cameron. He's so real. Mm-hmm. And the actor was like 30. But he was playing him, he was like 30. And I was like, I could see it.
Yeah, now that you say that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we're like, but that's why I don't like Grease. Because...
Yeah, because like John Travolta and all them are like...
Oh, look at us, we're like
old.
15 years old, look at these forehead wrinkles. And okay.
Get the original Spider-Man too. You got like 30-year-olds playing.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
I always get confused if he's trying
That's a fall movie. Spider-Man. That's a fall movie.
Yeah. All of them. All the Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's very fall. Fantastic Mr. Fox has something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a movie that you watch when you're away at home. It feels like a movie that I would watch this time next year at college, like in my dorm, like missing home.
Yeah.
Like doing essays.
It kind of alleviates
like
some homesickness or something.
To me, it sounds really weird, but like to me, this film, the number 9 Thursday, and Archaeology all have like the same vibe. It's really weird to me, but like.
I think I know what you mean. Like
it has the same vibe.
Yeah. The number 9 is a weird...
The number 9, I just feel like that's like that
Thursday,
film.
though, you're so right
Thursday. It's a Thursday film.
It's a Thursday film.
And, like, to me, Archaeology is very, like... that. It feels like this. Like, for me, Archaeology is it's a fall it's a fall job.
activity.
It's a fall activity. Uncovering ancient artifacts is a fall activity.
Yes.
But like that's what I think of, and I'm like, the film feels like home.
It does. It's so like I know for a fact so many people consider it a comfort movie.
It is a comfort movie.
It might be on its way to becoming one of mine.
I think it is mine.
Yeah.
It's like I've never had too many comfort movies before, except for like A Monster in Paris, which is really good. A Monster in Paris. I'm usually really good at this, but I can't think of any right now.
I'm
like blanking. Jurassic Park is a comfort movie for me.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I'm scared of Jurassic Park, so...
Yes, I know. That's why I'm confused.
That's what I'm writing my college essay on as well. I'm writing it on my rational fear of dinosaurs.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's a good topic.
Isn't it, actually?
Yeah.
Because I get to play it into, like, a bunch of, like, things that I've experienced, like, in my life, where I'm like, it's scary. Yeah. But, yeah, no, but I love Jurassic Park. Like, last year, when we could still use our phones at school, I rented it on my phone.
Yeah.
I watched it the night before. Then, the next day at school, I rented it on my phone, and I watched it 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
I watched it once per class. Because I had the time.
Yeah.
We were doing nothing, and I was like, oh, that's it. Jurassic Park is a fall film.
It is. It definitely... I agree with that completely.
It's a fall film. Like, it's summer in the movie, but in my heart it's fall.
But it's fall. I completely get that, actually.
I feel like dinosaurs are fall anyway.
Dinosaurs are fall.
Aren't they fall?
They are
Isn't
fall.
that weird?
Dinosaurs are fall. Mm-hmm. Harry Potter's a fall movie.
Well, Harry Potter is such a fall movie, but I feel like only the first one.
Yeah.
Only the first one's a fall movie.
Yeah, the first one's fall. I think the second one's like a winter movie.
Yep. I feel like the third one is like May. The month of May.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wes Anderson was born in May.
Really? Okay.
He's a Gemini. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Does it? That
cretin, born in May, makes sense.
Cretin?
That creature.
It's so mean.
No, he's chill. I like him.
We've tried to wrap this up like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. Great movie. Comfy movie.
Comfort movie.
Would recommend. Lovely to watch.
Go
fascinating
watch
to think about. It's on Disney Plus.
I had to rent it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I don't have Disney Plus.
Mm.
They stole my money. I forgot.
It happens to the best of us.
Well. Go watch it.
Go watch Fantastic Mr. Fox. Thank you for listening to the Pulp Diction podcast. Remember to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit that bell for notifications every time we make a new release. Follow us on Spotify, Pulp Diction. Follow us on Instagram. We're on Instagram now.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. That's where I posted some of those clips from Labyrinth. And that's that.